What is up, heroes? This is Midnight Zero, and welcome back to Let's Play 99 Blind. In the last episode, I struggled again with another one of those block puzzles, and now I've finally been told a little bit about what I actually need to do to understand what I was trying to solve. Turns out the hint button actually was this set of instructions rather than simply a hint. For those of you that are wondering, if you were struggling with the puzzle, why didn't you click the hint? I always work under the assumption that a hint is not something essential to completing the puzzle. It's once you're given a problem, if you're not sure what the solution is, the hint is a means of getting closer to that solution without frankly giving it away. Not something essential to figuring out what the problem is in the first place. As someone who appreciates an intellectual challenge, I very much like to avoid using hints as much as possible and try to figure things out on my own first. And so, given that I was having difficulty understanding what the problem was, not trying to figure out the problem once the problem had been identified, and my natural desire to not use hints, and my understanding of what a hint is, I didn't end up clicking hint, which turned out to be the instructions, more or less. And I've been told that this is just something that didn't translate very well from the DS to the Steam port. So I will forgive the game for its weird oddity in that translation. And thank you to those who kindly explained this to me. And thanks for all of your patience with it, because I can imagine it was probably frustrating. Like it was for me, I'm sure it was frustrating for some of you as well. Alright, regardless, I guess we just need to keep going. Right, let's go. It turned left twice before they saw the elevator. An elevator. Just what we need. Let's take this to C deck. In silence, they jogged up to it. Junpei pushed the C button. The elevator motor ground away, and before long they found themselves once again on C deck. The door opened and they stepped off. Huh? They had expected to find 4 other people waiting for them. There were none. Why is no one here? No one's here. Where did they go? I have no idea. Lotus shrugged. Something in the pit of Junpei's stomach stirred. Yeah, my horror senses are telling me that this is probably not the most ideal of situations. He tried to forget the feeling and took off down the long hallway before him. Hey, Junpei! We should follow him. Yeah, I agree. Seven and Lotus followed at a run. They ran, and ran, and ran. The hallway seemed endless. I know where we need to go. The door behind the central staircase. There was a sun symbol on the keyhole of that door. Oh, so the sun key is going to play a couple different roles here. And I happen to have the sun key in my pocket right now. Junpei being so bold, just acting on his own a lot in this particular timeline, right? There's the whole manipulating everyone into going into the door he wanted with June, and now just kind of going on ahead to whatever door is next. This should open that door. That was why they ran for the central staircase. They had run for quite some time when they arrived at the door that ended the hallway. Junpei stopped. Alright, time to open this. He laid his hand on the doorknob, his breathing heavy. Seven laid a hand on his arm. Hold on a sec there. Yeah, I can imagine Seven and Lotus are like, dude, just chill for a moment, please. Huh? We don't have the key for this one yet, right? There is the Jupiter symbol engraved over the keyhole. That's... Oh, it's the Jupiter symbol. Seven was right. They had no Jupiter key. Then we can't open this door? Unfortunately, no, we can't.
太陽の鍵穴がある扉はもうすぐそこなんだぜ。
Jeez, the sun door's gotta be just on the other side of this, you
こん
know?
なところで
We can't just stop. Frustrated, he twisted the doorknob. The door opened.
開いたぞ。
Hey, it opened. Why did the other people already go through?
なんでだ。
What?
他の4人がどこかで木製の鍵を見つけてきたのかもしれないわ。
Yeah, that's my thought as well. The others must have found the Jupiter
とに
key.
かく行ってみよう。
Well, what are we waiting for? As he spoke, he shoved the door the rest of the way open. They rushed through and stopped cold. Whoa, what? The terrible scene before them made their blood run cold. What? What? This is not what I expected. 3 people lay dead on the floor, covered in blood. Clover's dead. Santa's dead. Ace is dead. Where's June? All I can think of is where's June? We have Junpei, we have Lotus. It's where's June and where is Snake potentially? Huh? Why? My first thought here is not that June is the killer of these 3, but June is just dead somewhere else. And was instead killed by Snake, maybe? Or, I don't know. Junpei felt a cold sweat trickle down his spine. It's also possible that one of these 3 killed the other 2 and then killed themselves. Unlikely, but... He couldn't breathe. His legs shook. His body felt cold, deathly cold. But his blood was boiling hot. He could feel his mind begin to fade. Uh-oh. He couldn't think. He couldn't concentrate. His mind was blank. What the heck? Alright, somebody... When you see something like this, if there's anything I can try and get you to get the viewers to take away, is when you run into a scene like this, when you run into something intensely dangerous or some ill fate fell upon somebody immediately in front of you, immediately check your surroundings to make sure that such a fate does not meet you or does not fall upon you as well. What the heck happened? For all we know, the killer of all 3 of them could have been standing just outside the door that they walked in, waiting for them to step inside and be massively shocked and then, get killed. Seven's voice was weak and broken. He edged towards the bodies, his movements stiff. Clover. He bent down over Clover and pressed his fingers to her wrist. It's also possible that one of them is playing dead, but... Nothing. She's dead. Suddenly, Lotus moved. Before he understood what was happening, her hand was in Junpei's vest pocket. Hey, what are you doing? Huh? He leapt back. Lotus looked up at him, terrified. The key! Give me the sun key! Wait, why? Why? Why so urgent? Why do you think? We have to get out of here before the murderer comes back. The murderer? The murderer. The murderer. Once again, Junpei looked at the dead bodies. Santa, Clover, and Ace. 3 people, 3 dead bodies. That means that the person who had killed them was... No. No, it can't be true. Give it to me! Before Junpei could react, Lotus dove back into his pocket and came out with the key. Let's go! Without waiting for Seven or Junpei, she ran straight for the central staircase. They followed. Junpei shut his eyes and swallowed his emotions. Morning would have to wait. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that somebody would be able to take down all 3 of them. Let alone June of all people. I'm tempted to say they should take a look at what they're bleeding from. I get that, emotions are taking a hold of them. I get that they're in a rush. I get that they want to get out of there as fast as possible. But I think something that might have been really useful to figure out is turn over the body and look at the wound. Is it a stab wound? Is it a gunshot wound? I think just having that small context Is the wound the same? Does the weapon of attack look like it was the same for each of these 3 people? Or were these 3 people separated and killed individually and then brought all here to look as if it were one large kill or something like that? I don't think it would take too long to figure that out. I also don't blame them for it not crossing their mind. But I think having that context to know when you do run into someone, what type of attack are you expecting from them, what do you need to be aware of, would be really important. Regardless, it doesn't seem to be the case. Or what they're going to be doing here. Soon they stood in front of the door. Open! Lotus shoved the sun key into the keyhole and twisted it hard. But... why? What happened? Turn around. Turn around. Nothing. Nothing happened. I didn't feel it unlock. Oh no. Is it the wrong key? I don't know. Maybe. Lotus sighed, defeated, and leaned against the doorknob. I have this strange feeling that the killer is maybe on the other side of the door, holding the lock or something. She felt it twist. A small gap appeared between the door and the frame. It's open. What the heck is this? You mean the door was already unlocked? I think if anything this means that there's somebody going around with a skeleton key of sorts, or a master key that's able to unlock all of the doors. Why? How would I know that? Whatever, let's just go. I don't remember where we found the Jupiter key. I'm sure a lot of you guys do because you know the game better than I do. But I don't know if that's a room that we were supposed to have unlocked at this point, or have, completed at this point, or the other group would have completed by now, or if that's another clue that the other group shouldn't have had the Jupiter key, but somehow the door was still unlocked. And now the sun key was already unlocked prior to us actually obtaining the sun key. I also don't remember getting the sun key in any other room. Not that that memory is that great. So I think somebody's going around with the ability to unlock all these different doors. Probably Zero. Lotus took a deep breath and slowly opened the door the rest of the way. They stepped inside. In front of them was another hallway. It stretched out toward the bow of the ship. They began to run. They should probably consider doing this a little bit more carefully, because what would be going through my mind at this point is whoever was the killer has the ability to access all these different doors. This door was unlocked. The killer is probably beyond this point. You're probably running to the murderer at this point. Faster and faster they ran, trying desperately to reach the end of the hallway. And the only thing is, by the time you get there, you're going to be tired, and you're not going to have as much time to react. We'll see. We'll see how it turns out for our friends. A few seconds later, they were there. In front of them stood a massive metal door. What is this door? They were all breathing heavily as Junpei spoke. What the heck is this door? I can't see anything that looks like a doorknob or switch or lever or card reader or anything. How the heck are we supposed to open this? We don't have a choice. We're gonna have to go back. No, I'm not going back there. There's a murderer back there. There was more stark terror in Lotus's voice than authority. She was almost begging. But I don't see any other doors. As he spoke, Seven stepped toward the door in front of them, as if to illustrate that it was the only door. What? It just straight up opened? Why is everything opening up? I would be super skeptical. And now it feels like they're just walking straight into a trap. Like once they get in there, they're not going to be able to escape. No way. It opened by itself. It's an automatic door? Look guys, I've got a really bad feeling about all this. I would say, well, first of all, we can't see what's inside the room, and I don't think it's a dark room, it's just the blackout is for the sake of visual novel purposes. I think given that they know the room decently well, that they're coming from, they should have two people step inside the door, so that whoever goes in there is not alone to be ambushed. However, if the door opens when people from this side that they're currently on approach it, there is still one person, should the two in there not be able to exit once the door closes, to potentially open the door and get all three of them out. That would be my thinking. Obviously, that's working on some assumptions based on Seven's immediate interaction with it, and presuming that there's a good chance the doors won't open from the other side, like most escape rooms. So we'll see. We'll see.
鍵が開いてたり自動ドアだったりよ。
The other doors were already unlocked, and this one's
こ
automatic.
んなこと今までにはなかったじゃねえか。
We haven't seen anything like this
嫌な
before.
予感だって。
Bad feeling? How could their situation possibly get worse? 3 people were already
これ
dead.
以上嫌なことなんて
Don't forget about the
あっ
knife,
て
man.
たまるか。
We've hit bottom. This can't get any worse. Darn it.
おい、順平。
Hey, Junpei! He stepped through the door? I don't know if I agree with that.
そうだよ。これ以上なんて
I can't take this anymore.
あるはずが。
No one can. Is he just walking to his death or whatever? And whatever hope Junpei had managed to summon disappeared. He's fallen into despair.
そんな嘘だろ。
Uh-oh.
嘘だろ。
No. It's a lie. It's gotta be. What do you guys think it is? It's either June is dead or June is there waiting to kill him. What do you guys think it is? I'm gonna bet on June being there to kill him.
こんな現実はありえない。ありえない。ありえない。
This can't be
早
real.
く覚めてくれ。
No, it's impossible. If it's a dream, just wake up already.
嘘だと言ってくれ。
Someone, please tell me it's all just a
幻
joke.
覚を見ているだけだと言ってくれ。
I'm imagining things.
そうだよ。こんなものは嘘に決まってる。
Yeah,
幻だ。幻想だ。夢だ。虚構だ。
that's it. This is all obviously a lie. It's a big, elaborate trick, an illusion or something, or a dream. It's made up. It wasn't real, right? June. No. No, the code names meant nothing now. Akane. Akane! Oof. Akane is dead. I guessed incorrectly. Yikes. Junpei cried out and leapt through the door. He flew to her side, his heart like a stone in his chest.
Akane! Akane! しっかりしろ!
Akane, Akane, hang on! Junpei swept her up and shook her by the shoulder. She moaned and her eyes fluttered open, but only barely. There's a little bit of life left in her.
Akane!
Akane. Junpei-kun. Her face was pale, and her lips were dry and cracked. Her eyes were blank and cloudy. They stared straight at Junpei, but saw nothing. Junpei put his hand against the small of her back to hold her up. It felt warm and wet. He lifted his hand up. Blood. It was covered in blood. Oh man. Akane.
血がこんなに
There's so much blood.
一体何があったっていうの
What the heck happened to you?
どうしてこんなことに
How did this happen? It was all he could do not to break into tears. Junpei-kun, I'm sorry. Her voice was thin, a minuscule thread that was the only thing keeping her with him. I might not make it.
何言ってるんだ絶対に死なせるもんか必ず助けてやる
No way. No way I'm gonna let you die. I'm gonna save you, I promise. Thank you, Junpei-kun. Wow. Thank you so much for everything. Oh, my heart. I was really happy. To see you again, Junpei-kun. Really happy.
バカ野郎一度どころか二度でも三度でも何回だって会ってやるよ
Don't give me that I was crap. You're gonna see me again lots more
だから
times.
あんたらしっかりしてくれあか
You've just gotta hang on, alright, Akane?
一 とにかく
You.
とにかくなんだどうすればいいんだよ
What can I do?
くっそ
Darn it. He looked up from Akane, desperate for something, anything.
なんだ
What's that? Is that a submarine? Then he saw it. A small submarine.
それでどうしてこんなところにそんなものが
A submarine? What on earth is a submarine doing here? No, that didn't matter. Nothing mattered except saving Akane. That was the only thing he wanted.
そうだ
That's it. Junpei turned his head back to look down at her.
待ってろすぐそこに潜水艇があるんだ動くかどうか見てくるから
Hang on, alright? There's a submarine over there. I'm gonna go see if it works. No,
行かないでください
don't go. Please, don't go.
お願いだからそばにいて
Please, just stay with me, okay?
最後ぐらい純平君のそばにいさせてほしいんです
I want to be close to you, Junpei-kun. When I... Oh, this is so heartbreaking, guys.
茜
Akane.
純平君知ってました
Junpei-kun, did you know?
私純平君のこ
You meant a lot to me when we were kids.
と小学校の頃からずっと
I've liked you for a long time, Junpei. Really long time. Junpei's vision had gone blurry. It took him a moment to realize his eyes were filled with tears. He could feel a piercing point of heat deep in his heart, like a white-hot flame.
純平君といろんなとこ行きましたよね
Junpei-kun, do you remember how we hung out a lot when we were kids?
プール行ったりお祭り行ったり
We went to the pool and to the fair.
雪の積もった校庭で雪合戦したりとか
Do you remember playing snowball at the school?
みんなかけがえのない思い
They're all memories I'll never forget.
出の瞬間私にとっては宝物
All of those moments are treasures to me.
本当はもっともっといろんなとこ行きたかったんです
Aww. But I also wanted to go to a lot of other places with you. A lot more.
もう無理ですね
But that won't happen now.
そんなことないさ茜
No. I mean, yes, it will happen. We'll go all sorts of places, Akane.
言っただろ何回だって会ってやるって
You hear me? I promise. We'll go wherever you want.
本当に
Really?
本当だ
Yeah, really. I swear.
よかった
That makes me happy. Really happy. She said it to herself over and over, a weak smile creasing her tired face. Junpei-kun,
私なんだか
I feel sleepy.
ダメだ茜寝ちゃダメだ
No, Akane, don't fall asleep.
ありがとう
Thank you, Junpei-kun. Thank you so much. Her eyes were slowly closing. Junpei screamed, even as he felt his throat go hoarse.
茜
Akane! Akane!
茜
Yikes. Time passed. Junpei wept, curled around Akane's body. He cried and cried until he had no tears left. When the last tear fell, Junpei was no more. His body remained, but only as an empty shell. Somewhere, he heard a bell ring. It was the clock at the central staircase. It rang 5 times, then faded.
5時か。
5 o'clock. Quietly, gently, softly, he set Akane down on the floor. Slowly, Junpei stood. Only then did he realize that Seven and Lotus had not followed him. Where had they gone? Slowly, he looked around the room. There was nothing. No sign that they had ever been there. It felt as though every part of Junpei's body was made of lead. Slowly, he made his way to the door he'd come through. As he approached it, it opened, sliding apart with a sound like grinding stone. Oh God. Oh God. So first of all, I'm glad to hear it opens, but the fact that Seven and Lotus never came in means they're in cahoots and part of the bad crew or something like that, or they were probably killed as soon as Junpei went in. Are we finally going to meet the killer? Junpei passed through the gate and into the hallway. Yup. This is also unsurprising. Dang, at this point, literally everyone is dead, except for, presumably, Snake. His heart rattled in his chest, an empty, lifeless thing. I think... Oh man, this music makes me feel like we're about to get that bad ending screen. But, what's interesting is whoever killed them must have been in the room, right? But they didn't proceed to go through the sliding door to kill Junpei. I find that very intriguing. His heart rattled in his chest, an empty, lifeless thing. It had been so utterly broken that there was nothing left to feel. When he saw their bodies, he simply stared. It was a lake, a sea of blood, 2 bodies lay in it. There was no need to check. There was no breath left in them. His eyes lit on Lotus's wrist. Her bracelet, it was gone. He stared. It meant nothing to him. He didn't care anymore. He couldn't care anymore. Junpei's body felt numb. A part of him knew the lump of lead in his chest had once been a heart. He couldn't quite remember what it had been for. So what's interesting to note is June's wrist still had her bracelet, but Lotus's does not. And I think the intent is to imply whoever is the killer needs specifically Lotus's bracelet, which I think is concurrent with that one other ending as well, where Lotus was killed. And we were supposed to deduce that, whoever the killer needed specifically Lotus's bracelet. Lotus being the number 8, well, we don't know how many other bracelets this person has, so there's not a whole lot of deduction, I think, or meaningful deduction we can really do. But if we know they don't have June's, we know they probably don't have Seven's. I don't remember looking at, Clover, Santa, etc. But I think if I go back and look at that, we can maybe deduce who this person is based on which bracelets they've been taking, and then obviously need to add up to the number 9. And what's interesting is everyone seems to be dead except for Snake and Junpei, obviously. I say seems because somebody who appeared dead might not have actually been so. Right? There have been times in the game, namely Snake's presumably, quote, death, where it appeared Snake had died but didn't quite actually. So I am skeptical. Regardless, tears poured from his eyes in great streams. He wasn't sure why. He gave up trying to make them stop. He turned around, the door opened again, and slowly, numbly, he walked through. He kept walking. Why stop? An object set in motion, simple inertia carried him forward. There's the submarine. Eventually, he found himself in front of the submarine. His arm reached for the hatch. And kaboom. And that's his body presumably falling into the water, and then he was floating in water. His eyes stared down into it. He couldn't see the bottom. Yikes. His back was hot. Dimly, he felt the blade of a knife in it. Who? One dead body lay behind door number 5. The body of the 9th man. It had to be Snake, right? Another lay in the shower room. The body of Snake. Well, potentially. At the central staircase were 3 more. Ace, Santa, and Clover. Just outside the door were 2 corpses. Those of Seven and Lotus. And in this very room lay the body that had once been Akane. Zero potentially, and now Junpei would join them. Who then had killed them all? Who? Ain't that the question? This is the bad ending music, I think. Junpei let out one last breath. Faintly, he felt the bubbles creep up the side of his face. His consciousness faded quickly, dissolving away into the cold, gentle lapping of the water. Surprised the person was actually waiting in the room for them. I don't know how they got in there, but... Whoa. Whoa, what's up with the credits now? Huh? Is this like the intended ending? Or is this... Huh? This doesn't feel like a end of the game ending. But I don't know why I'm getting credits. This feels like it would be a bad ending, and then they'd be like, alright, time to get back to it, try something else. Interesting. So, I guess what this ending does is confirm that there is another person on the ship with malintent, right? There's somebody else out there trying to kill them and collecting bracelets, but we don't know who they are. I mean, I'm tempted to say it's Snake, just because of the whole Snake's body being exchanged for someone else's. So I feel like Snake setting up his own death to remove suspicion from him, or to give him the freedom to move around without being checked on by other people, is what's actually going on here. That's my current working theory, but there's still more to be explored. I think this is one of 3 endings we haven't gotten yet. There's that very first ending, if you want to call it an ending, that we need to explore more, deeply. And there's one other ending that I think is necessary to get for the true ending. So, very, very interesting. I'm curious to see where things go. The end. Or is it? Definitely not. This definitely is one of those endings that just makes you curious and want to figure out more of what's going on next. Interesting. So everyone ends up getting murdered in this ending by someone who's not one of those people, presumably. Yeah, so we'll save here because this is what I do. So we got the submarine ending. There's still 2 endings. Access the flowchart to return to the title screen to start from the beginning. Gotcha. So yeah, that's how we got through there. There's still one more ending. What's this event? I'm curious to see what that event is. And then I also want to check out this ending. And then this is still locked. So we've got quite a bit to do here. I'm very curious. I'm very intrigued to see what's really going on behind everything. We learned so much in this, this timeline, right? This route. Via Lotus's backstory, Seven's backstory, the whole pharmaceutical dealio, the previous game, and now we've pretty much confirmed the existence of another person who's collecting bracelets, not just... and, you've got to wonder, too, if Snake did replace his own body, or faked his death with some other body, whose body is that, right? And who is the captain on the ship? Who are these other people? There's a lot going on. I'm pretty intrigued. So I'm going to say we'll call it here because I feel like it's a good stopping point. But in the next episode, we're going to continue going for another ending before going after what I believe will be the true ending. So I'm excited. I'm intrigued. And I hope you guys are too. I hope you guys are looking forward to not just the uncovering of the story, but figuring out everything that's going on along the way and piecing it all together, hopefully ourselves, prior to the game, telling us, frankly. But anyways, until the next episode, this is Movie Night Zero, and this mission is complete.